Hello. How is everybody today? I'm a little nervous, so bear with me. Wait for everybody to show up. Hey. Wait for a couple more people and then I'll start. Well, I guess I'll go ahead and get started. Guess more people will show up. I'm really nervous. Okay. Well, let me start with the day I stopped. October the 18th, 2015. That's 630 days. And it's been a struggle. So, I'm going to start with my childhood, how I grew up, and how I got started, and how I got clean. Hi, Tracy. Hi, Aaron. Can y'all see me and hear me pretty good? Well, my name is Betty Cornell. Hi, Kimberly. Hi, Aaron. Thanks, Aaron. I was born in West Virginia in a little town called Lewisburg. I was back and forth from North Carolina to West Virginia to Ohio half my life. Hi, Robert. My parents split up whenever I was little. I think I was like 2 or 3. My grandparents raised me. And my grandfather passed away. I was bounced around from family member to family member. I lived with my dad's middle brother for a while. He was abusive. And that's when it all started. He beat me with a belt one time because I forgot my coat at school. That's when my dad came from North Carolina to West Virginia and got me. I'm 11 years old at this time. I was introduced to marijuana to start with. Then it got to alcohol. And I was drinking and smoking weed with my dad. But my dad got where he couldn't take care of me. So he sent me back to West Virginia. Still bounced around. I lived with his middle sister, and I started hanging out with the wrong crowd. I was sneaking out of the house, chasing boys. Of course, I was young. That's when I started drinking really bad. Every night I would sneak out of the house. She got tired of it, and she sent me to my mom's. There is when it got worse. I was using crack cocaine, smoking weed, drinking, and doing pills. I remember one weekend I went to stay with my cousin in a different part of West Virginia, and we went to the fair. I came back on a Sunday or Monday, and she was gone. I had nowhere to go. I was 13 years old. So I moved back to where I was with my cousin. I couldn't stay with her. So I moved in with this older man and was taking care of his kids. One day I was in the bathroom, and the guy I was dating came in there and said, "Betty, the police is looking for you." "Why is the police looking for you?" "I don't know." So I got out of the bathtub and I got dressed and went out there to see what was going on. And that officer said, "Are you Betty Cornell?" And I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "You got to come with me. You're only 13 years old. You can't stay here. This is not a relative." So I was put in a foster home. That's whenever stuff started getting worse for me. I was sneaking out of the foster home. I was drinking, using, and I finally got caught. So I had to go to a girl's home. I snuck out of the girl's home and I never went back. I went and found my mom. My mom hid me in an attic because the police were looking for me. So my mom finally got me out of West Virginia, brought me back to North Carolina. Mind you, I was in the backseat of her car, clothes piled on top of me. I was leaving. So we got back to North Carolina. My mom and dad tried to get back together. That didn't work. My mom left me with my dad. My dad was very abusive, very mean man. Had to walk on eggshells around him. But he let me drink. He let me smoke weed. He didn't know that I was into crack. He didn't know I was into cocaine. But he was doing it too. And I was sneaking and doing it. Sneaking out of the house all the time. Skipping school. Running with boys. Just so my dad got married for the third time. And I moved in with them. And they both worked. And I had a stepbrother. And I was in bed one night and he tried to come in there and touch on me. I finally kicked him. I said, "Get away from me." So my dad and my stepmom argued, fought every weekend. They drank every weekend, went to the bar every weekend, took me to the bar with them. I remember one time we left the bar and we were walking home. We were walking on railroad tracks, and my dad beat my stepmom all the way home. It got worse when we got home. He was there. They were in the bedroom fighting on the bed. She rolled off the bed and she busted her head open. There was blood everywhere. You could stick a finger inside of her head. My dad made me and my stepbrother take the sheets and the blankets across the street to a bar and put the stuff in a dumpster. They got away. Of course, I had to stay. It was my dad. He molested me that night. My stepmom didn't come back. Sorry. My stepmom didn't come back. So, of course, I had to go back to West Virginia. And I lived with my mom. And that's where I continued to get heavier and heavier into drugs. Smoking crack, doing cocaine, doing pills, drinking. Running around with different boys. Then I got introduced to heroin. The devil's drug. So now I'm 15 years old and I'm doing it all. I met this guy. Moved in with him. He was working, I was working. And every weekend we would party. And we started smoking crack. Snorting cocaine. Drinking. Doing pills. It got so bad we lost everything. So we moved to West Virginia. And he got a job. And I introduced him to a boy I went to school with. Next thing I know, he's out smoking crack every night. And I wanted to get my life together, and it didn't work with him. So I left and went back to North Carolina. met another man, went to Ohio. That relationship didn't last long. We were too busy drinking and snorting pills and going to bars and arguing all the time. So I left him. Excuse me. And I met this other man. He is the father of my 17-year-old son now. So I was working. I moved in with him. We had a small efficiency apartment. And all we done was smoke weed and drink. I quit everything. Everything else besides drinking and smoking weed. Then we decided that we were going to move out of this efficiency apartment and get a house. Well, we got a house, and we had to redo. We was redoing the house, and we had some next door neighbors that he knew, and he was out there talking to them one day, and he come in the house and he said, "Betty, they have no power and they have no water. Do you care if they come and take showers?" "No, I don't care." Come to find out, they had no power and no water because they were crackheads. And me, being the addict that I am, me and Joe started smoking crack. I finally got tired. I said, I got to get away from this. I got to go. You can have the house, and I'll move back into the efficiency apartment. And that's what I done. I wasn't even there a month. Found out I was pregnant with my son. That's when I knew things had to stop. Things had to change. Called him. We got back together. And we moved to a different county in Ohio. He worked. I couldn't work because I was pregnant. And I was a high-risk pregnancy, so I couldn't work. And after I had my son, about a month later, he lost his job. So we moved back to West Virginia to my aunt's house. We stayed there until we could get on our feet. We moved into an apartment. He wanted a house. So we moved into this house, and he met a Mexican guy, and they started selling cocaine. My son's a baby. They're selling coke out of the house. Of course, here I go. I was doing cocaine every night, staying awake every night, all night. And I was doing mushrooms, doing cocaine, smoking weed, drinking beer, and here I have a son. What was I doing? What was I thinking? So, one night, we went out to eat. Came back, every light in the house was on. I thought, what the hell? Why is all these lights on in the house? The police had been raiding my house. It up. And I said, I got to go. I'm not staying here. I packed my son some clothes, some diapers and milk, packed me some clothes, and I left. I didn't even go back to get the rest of the stuff. I made him do it. Him and my uncle done it. We moved into my uncle's trailer. And quit everything. So, my uncle was about to lose his house because he was an alcoholic and he lost his job because he lost his license. So we moved into his house and was taking over payments. Well, we started letting people come over and partying, and it was one thing led to another, and here I go, smoking crack, snorting coke, and just starting all over again. Joe was having me a birthday party. We was all having a good time. And he disappears. And this girl I thought was my really good friend was in the kitchen kissing my boyfriend, my baby's daddy. I was drunk, but I beat the hell out of her. Threw her out the front door. And that's whenever I got bad. Kicked him out. Gave my son to my aunt. And I was just laying my head anywhere I could because I got strung out. Now I'm on heroin, smoking crack, snorting cocaine, drinking, and this was an every night thing. And this went on for like 2 or 3 months. And one day I was walking down the street and my aunt drove by with my 2-year-old son in the back seat of the car, screaming and crying, I want my mommy, I want my mommy. I couldn't take care of him, I was too strung out. But I had to let him spend the night. Because he wouldn't quit crying, he wanted his mommy. It's the only thing he knew. His dad didn't have anything to do with him. So I let him spend the night, and I used the whole time he was there. I would go in the bathroom just so he wouldn't see me. I was fucked up. I was sick. My mind was twisted. The next day I called her and said, come and get him. She came and got him. And she was crying. Betty, please get some help. She would call me and put him on the phone. And he would just scream and cry. Mommy, I love you. Mommy, I want you. 2 years old. That third day, I said, I got to get clean. So I called my uncle, and I was crying. I said, please come get me. I want help. I went to spend the night with my son. And I went to rehab for 30 days. I got out and done good for a long time. Moved to Ohio. Moved back to Ohio. No. Moved back to North Carolina. Sorry. I moved back to North Carolina. I met this man. First time I had sex with him, I got pregnant with my daughter. We were okay. I didn't do drugs. I didn't drink. And do anything but smoke cigarettes. And we got into it one night. I don't remember what it was over, but we got into it one night. And he kicked me in the stomach. I knew it was time to go. So I waited for him to go to work. I packed up my stuff. Packed up my son's stuff and I left. I went to a women's shelter for battered women. They helped me get a place. So here I am pregnant with my son. With my daughter. And I had my son. And I was working. Doing good. After I had her, I struggled. Trying to take care of 2 kids in a household by myself was hard. So, I moved back to West Virginia. Stayed straight for a long time. Went out with my cousin one night. Went to a bar. Here I go. Started drinking again. I was a heavy drinker. Talking half a gallon every night. Met this man at the bar. Took him home with me. 4 months later I married him. I thought he was the one. Ended up catching him cheating on me too. I thought I just wasn't good enough. So, we split up. And because he was cheating on me, I met another man. I wasn't drinking anymore. All I was doing was smoking weed and doing pills. I wasn't working. I had my 2 kids. I finally got a job, waitressing. But one night, I stole this girl's purse. I would spend the money that I made at the motel. Sorry, y'all. I would spend my money that I made from the restaurant on dope, on pills. I stole her checkbook, was writing checks to get my kids Christmas. Because I was too busy using. Finally caught up with me. I went to jail. I was looking at 62 years in prison for writing bad checks. So, finally went to court, and the judge gave me 1 to 10 years in prison. And in West Virginia, that's no more than 1 year, no more than 10 years. So Betty done 5 years in prison for writing bad checks because she was so strung out. She was using her money to buy dope instead of buying her kids Christmas. My family had my kids. My son went through hell. If my daughter done something wrong, he would get the blame. So I put my kids through hell. And I feel like a piece of shit mother for it sometimes. I got out of prison. Went and lived with my dad. Got my kids back. talked my dad into buying a trailer in this trailer park. I was on parole. I done good for a while. Got off parole. Started running around with people in the trailer park. Smoking weed, drinking, and doing pills again. Met this girl named Dawn. Me and her got really close. She's like my sister. She got down, and I got down. Because as we all know, the doctor quit prescribing pain pills like they used to. I was sick. I was sick. I was walking from my house to Walmart to pick up some money so I could get some dope or some pills or something because I was sick. And this guy I knew picked me up. And he said, "You're going to get some money?" I said, "Yes." And he had some heroin. Oh, as soon as I took a snort of heroin, I felt so much better. Oh, I thought, oh God, I'm in heaven now. And this girl was with him, and she went inside Walmart bathroom. And I said, "What are you doing over there?" She said, "Come over here, come over here." So I went in the same stall with her. And I shot up. That's when it started again. So now I'm just on heroin. Every day. Spending $600, $700, $800 a day. Wish I had that money. Met this guy. And I'd be damned if we didn't move in with one of his friends. And he beat the hell out of that man because he tried to get me into bed with him. I didn't call the police, so they charged me too. Here I am, going back to prison. This time when I went to prison, I lost my daughter. I don't know where she's at today. She's 14. Thank God I have my son. And I have a beautiful grandbaby now. I didn't go to prison at that time. I got put on probation for 2 years. I was strung out. There was no way in the world I could have done 2 years probation. My son stayed with my dad. Well, finally I was tired. My body was tired. I looked like death. I OD'd 3 times. I'm so lucky to be sitting here talking to you guys today, telling you my story. It feels good to talk about it. It helps. So anyway, I went to my probation officer and I said, "Please violate me." And he said, "Betty, I can't violate you. You haven't done nothing." I said, "But I'm strung out. I'm on heroin really bad and I want help." He said, the only way I can violate you is if you abscond. So now my son is living with his girlfriend and her parents. And I called and asked if I could come and spend time with Joey. And I did. I came over and spent 3 days with him. And I left. I went to West Virginia to my mom's. I was there for 2 months. I made him come get me. When I was there, I was walking the streets, selling my body, doing what an addict lady would do, boosting at Walmart, stealing. I'm so lucky not to be in prison for that. So they finally came and got me, and I went to jail. Went to prison for 15 months. I just got out this past December. I got a job. I've been doing really good since. I've not used. I'll do smoke my cigarettes, drink my Pepsi. And I feel good today. I don't have to wake up and chase that devil anymore. I can wake up today and spend time with my son and my 4-month-old grandbaby. She loves her mama. It's been hard. I worked at that motel. And I started living there. Every day, somebody was trying to get me to buy crack or coke or heroin. I had to get away from there because the addict I am. If I'd had a bad day, I'd want to use, but I didn't. I would look at my phone and look at my baby, my grandbaby, and I would say, no, I can't do it. She needs me. My son needs me. She's 17 years old with a baby, and he's got to finish school. So he needs his grandma and her mama. So today, I'm now living with my 17-year-old son and my grandbaby. It feels good to wake up beside her every morning and to be able to sit here and spend time with my son, and I'm not high. I love my kids. So please, take some advice from me. I hope this hits home to somebody. I hope this helps somebody. Take my advice. If you're still using, if you're still running the roads, sleeping in abandoned houses or what have you, stop. Get help. Go to a rehab. It's not fun. I thank God every day for delivering me from the devil. So, I thank y'all for letting me share. I hope it hits home. I don't know everybody, but I love every one of y'all. Thank you.
Away www.stopfryingyourbrain.com.